confused.
Very different.
Well, they're
I remember nothing
very similar
about them.
directors. Very similar directors.
I remember nothing about them.
Matthew Vaughn and Guy Ritchie. Do you know his name's Guy Ritchie? Goes by Guy.
Interesting.
I really hope that's true.
Like
Throws
the Asian,
absolute fits.
like the clarified butter. Yep, Bimbo. Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Brian Bishop, your host. Today we bring you reviews of a couple old movies assigned to us by listeners, as well as a movie I've been putting off for a while. Maybe we'll get to it, maybe we won't. And Anderson, last I saw, you had a TBD.
Yeah, I did have a TBD, but that is no longer to be determined because it's been determined, Bri. Yeah, I've determined
Excited.
what I was going to watch. Talk to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, come on, talk to me.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Let's talk.
to me. We're going to be talking about Talk to Me.
Oh,
That means Avery and I are probably going to be talking about Talk to Me.
All right.
very excited.
Is this the Don Cheadle movie from like 2000?
It is not.
It is.
that.
It is.
I did see that one as well, though. And that was very, very good. He really threw himself into that role, Brian.
right.
That Don Cheadle.
Wake up, goddammit.
He showed a whole new level that I didn't know Cheadle had. But no, I'm going to be talking about a hand and
Fair.
children and demons
Skull crushing.
my.
and possession.
Oh, no.
And yeah, there's some
Skull
crushing.
trauma?
I was
Skull
expecting
trauma.
it to be worse
I thought
because
you
of
were
all the
on
lead up. I didn't actually see.
It's
Pretty intense.
it goes on for a while.
Talk to me, and the Wailing. It was a tough week for me. I can tell you that because I am not one who likes to watch squirmy horror films, no matter how well they're made. I don't like to be submersed in that world for too long because I'm a bit of a pap.
The Don Cheadle film is from 2007. I mistakenly said 2003.
Thank God you cleared that up because people were about to pick it.
I was nervous.
People were going to find your
Feel
house.
better?
Yeah.
Torches were going to be
Relieved.
brought.
Don Cheadle's.
Okay, Brian, can we get off
Talk
Don
to Me,
Cheadle?
streaming on Stars.
It's killing it. Stars is killing it. Hey, some big news with everything that I'm doing that's away from this here program.
There should be nothing, but let's hear it.
I know. My life does go on after the film ball.
No,
after
Freudian
the film
slip.
ball ends. Mike and I have been doing some very good, enlightening interviews with some of our main subjects on the documentary Loaded for Bear, which you can find out more about at Loaded for Bear Doc. And just
Is
yesterday,
that going to be feature length, by the way?
yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be a
Remember
feature length
one point you
documentary.
thought about doing a short.
No, I thought about doing well, no, okay, so I don't know what you're talking about, but I never thought about doing a short documentary.
Okay.
It might not have. There's 3 different possible versions with it as we are right now. But there is a short film that we're producing that's going to be built in and around the Loaded for Bear universe. And
Although there's a feature film we were working on.
yes, that is the.
In addition.
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
three separate properties.
Oh.
One's a feature-length documentary.
Okay.
One is a feature-length narrative, and then one is a short
Okay,
film.
I think I conflated the short film and the documentary in my head.
And
with
one is a podcast.
one is
Oh,
a
boy.
podcast. We're also gonna do a cartoon. We're thinking about doing
nice.
a TikTok.
A web series.
Some Corano cards. Some playing cards.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a version where it's like on Post-its and you flip it and you can actually see the little stick figures running around and acting.
like
and
a
whatnot.
zoetrope situation.
But no, we're doing like a proof of work, proof of concept, essentially, and we're doing it right. And it's got a decent sized budget, which stresses me out. And we got a date. We're looking at doing it on October 20th right now.
All right.
And just yesterday, we got SAG-AFTRA approval, signatory they
All
call it, and
right.
we are officially on their site as an approved project. And coincidentally, I was on the phone. It really is coincidentally. I was on the phone with an actor that we made an offer to for one of the lead roles just this morning for, I thought it'd be 10 minutes or so. He had some questions about the script. Spoke with him for 45 minutes.
Wow,
and
good sign.
yeah, he's on board as well. So 3 of our 4 leads are now locked, and it's very
cast?
exciting. Yeah. And
What with the announcement?
I know. I don't know. I should
Come
I should know as soon as tomorrow maybe, but it's exciting. You're going to know these people. You're going to know their work. You're going to have seen them before. Some of them you will
Can
know.
I please announce it?
Yeah, sure, if you'd like
Okay.
to.
Diedrich Bader is headlining your film.
No, I thought you'd actually want to know who they were before you announce, not just take some
I just-
guesses.
yeah.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
finally buried the hatchet with Adam Carolla. It'll be good to see him in something good
Yeah.
besides the hammer.
Corolla may or may not have inspired the actual germ of the idea of the story.
You'd be foolish not to hire the man.
No, I It's just about working underneath someone who frustrates you. I mean, that's kind of was the germ of the
The
idea.
Anderson Cowan story.
Yeah, it's my story wherever I go. Even when I'm working for myself, I'm like,
Here,
that damn Anderson.
Loveline, wherever you go.
I do not work for you, sir. I don't work for you. So anyways,
That's gotta be frustrating.
very exciting stuff is going on.
Congratulations. Happy for you.
Yeah, and I have my team. We got a whole team.
You're
that
not
works
my
on this.
boss, Brian.
That's right.
You're not my employee,
No,
Brian.
I'm not your
Not your
employee.
That was what. I mean, it's a running theme in your life. That was a roommate that you had.
Yes.
Who you were treating like an employee. That's how
I
you
wish
treat
I
people.
treated him like an employee. I would have loved to have some productivity
Well,
out
if
of him.
you evoked that response in him, maybe you were.
He sucked. I can corroborate this with third-party witnesses.
So, anyways, if you would like to give to this
Not your employee.
this project, and if you would like to get the tax write-off that comes with it, since it is through our fiscal sponsor, go over to loadedforbeardoc.com and check with your employees. Speaking of employees, if you work for a big giant conglomerate,
match
a lot
that
of
shit.
the time they match. So every bit helps. Thank you very much to the people who have given since the last time I plugged this. It's my least favorite part of this whole process is hat in hand, but it's also
I agree with that.
a cool opportunity for you guys to be involved in something that we find to be very worthwhile, and it's going to have, I've seen a lot of shorts. You've probably seen a lot of shorts, Brian, and it's rare that you get recognizable faces in these shorts. So we're very, very
Unless
fortunate.
someone's doing it as a favor for some powerful whatever.
Yeah.
Or unless it's Eric Roberts, because
Yeah,
he will
he's
do everything.
affordable.
Or Eric. Speaking of which, my buddy Eric Holmes just interviewed Eric Roberts for Cinematics or Find Your
Really?
Film, which one of the
Tight.
two. Yeah.
It's funny. I was just watching some clips today of an actor who was kind of Eric Roberts before Eric Roberts, in that he would do anything for a certain amount of money.
Was it young Eric Roberts?
No, it was Stephen Baldwin.
Oh,
For
yeah.
a while there, Baldwin was in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
If you had $1 million, he'd show up on your set.
Both of them were on Loveline at one time or another. The difference is
Yeah, Baldwin I have a picture with.
Eric Roberts and I got along quite well.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and Steven almost walked off the show because of me. So two different
I don't remember that
two
at
different
all.
takes. I was making fun of his born again Christianity
Oh,
on
yeah,
air.
sounds
Kind of dickish of me looking back on it.
He's a spiritual man.
He is very spiritual.
Are you aware of Mark Wahlberg's
Yeah,
religiosity?
He used to be Mark, that guy.
No. He is apparently very religious
Well, he's
now.
a
Oh, really?
pretty serious Catholic, I think.
Yeah.
I know that he would have taken care of business if he was on the plane for 9/11.
That's right.
He said.
He does the Ash Wednesday thing.
I saw a video of him kneeling before an altar and then dapping up the altar and then turns the camera and says, "Prayers up."
Prayers up.
And
No, yeah,
I didn't love it.
I knew that. I mean, he's Catholic, guy, right? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's like a Boston guy, aren't like most people out of Boston Catholic?
Didn't
Yeah, a
know
lot of
he was
Irish
doing that.
Catholics out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Mark, yeah.
Prayers up.
I thought he was just
Anyone
asking me
else?
if I was familiar with Mark Wahlberg, and I just
Anyone
don't
else
know.
want to out Avery as religious?
I got somebody out, but I've been told that I
Safe.
shouldn't.
Oh, like as gay or as
No, as like a dick.
Oh,
I'll tell you off air,
I'd like to hear it.
but it might be your most heroic person in your life.
I don't know where
And I've heard things. I've heard things.
My father, my dead father.
No, not your dead father.
Well, a Corolla is Corolla. I don't know who else do I worship. That's it. Those are the two. Pillars.
Oh, I'm glad you brought me here.
Is it
Let's
Jose
talk a little Rotten
is it-
Tomatoes
is it
being
Jose
outed.
Canseco?
Oh yeah.
Let's-
Is it Jose Canseco?
It is
I don't
not,
think
Brian.
I can go on
It's offensive to the individual. That he's not coming directly to your mind when you actually do a bit about him every year on this here program.
Oh no, Michael Bean. He's a great guy. We both met him. How dare you?
He didn't like me much.
Well, he's a normal human being in that case.
No, I'm kidding. I joke around. I did talk to somebody who has worked with him, and those stories will be related to you off air. Let me say this. You ready?
I'm hearing it.
I want to hear what the listeners have been saying.
Flurry's
The
off Rotten
listeners.
Tomatoes.
Oh yeah. That's why I lost my train of
I was
thought.
going to say.
Literally
Rotten
just teased
Tomatoes.
it.
So you guys have heard, right? You
I
guys-
sent you 2 articles.
You hear about this? Yeah.
Okay, so we set the table.
Have we not seen each other since you sent me those articles? It seems like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know.
I don't
It
think
just
we
might
have.
not have come up on the last show. I don't know.
In case you haven't heard, tell them the scoop, boys.
There's
Sorry.
been some controversy.
Consuming my dinner. Yes, Rotten Tomatoes. It has come out that perhaps a PR agency was paying directly
The fix is in.
the princely sum of $50 to some of the low level reviewers to give maybe marginal films a positive review. To which I say, number one,
That is a cheap date right
Look
yeah,
there.
number one, cheap date. Number
Look
two,
at Brian defending his
no, please. Number two, shocking. Well,
Yeah.
what a shock that's happened.
underpaid borderline real critics taking $50.
Well, that leads me to point number 3, which is I would love to see Rotten Tomatoes trim the fat.
They're always adding.
Prune the tree.
They're always adding.
Prune the tree, as it were. Like maybe you have to be published in a major publication, or maybe you have to have a circulation of 100,000 or 500,000.
Or be white.
Or be white. Thank you. Like you said. Because there is way too. How dare? There's way too much.
Mediocrity.
There's a lot of like I've never heard of that site, or it's like Greg from GregLovesMovies.com.
Why you gotta go with Greg? You going after my buddy Greg Srzawowski of Cinematics? What's your problem? Greg's very good. He's been doing this since like 90.
He's credentialed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom from TomLovesMovies.com. It's like, all right, I don't need to know Tom's opinion. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
A listener submitted myself. I didn't even know, and I got the rejection letter back. Yeah, and it wasn't because my credentials weren't up. It was because the wrong form was submitted for our platform. But from what I understand, it wasn't that far out of left field that like you and I could actually be Rotten Tomato critics because of the film.
Well, I feel like you'd have a better leg to stand on than a lot of the people.
I'd be honest. I can tell you that. No one's paying me $50 to say anything good or bad
I'd
about
like
your
to
movie.
tell you
ever.
now that for $50, I'll say what the fuck you want me to say about your movie.
I mean, you say pretty much anything
Yeah.
you want for $40 a week on this year's show. So
50 is where the bidding starts. If the reserve doesn't get met, I'll do it anyway.
He won't watch the movie because he does not like them.
he does not like them.
But he will write them.
Absolutely. Or just start showing the top critic score, you know what I mean, as opposed to just the overall.
Okay, so you just want more of the same, which I discovered last week.
I love the review aggregation. I love knowing what people say. I just don't need to know what everyone says.
I don't need to know any of it. I just want to see the fucking movie. How about that? I'm going to see who's involved.
We'll tell you.
Yeah, and you know what some of the word of mouth is, which I'm not relying on Rotten Tomatoes for that. I'd listen to Fanfliction well before I'd listen to Rotten Tomatoes.
Speaking of which,
Fanfliction. What the people have seen, compiled by the Mitch Burns. Ted Peterson on Facebook did what Bryan did not. Saw Bottoms.
all right.
Bryan, you're hurting the show.
Can I upset you right now?
It is genuinely upsetting.
I had a ticket for Bottoms in my hand on my phone, and it was canceled today. I canceled it.
Why?
It was canceled.
Why would you do that?
I was tired. I've been traveling a lot.
I've been traveling a lot. I realized I was under delivering on my research. I had an obituary to write, and the thing is
for your
just gone
integrity.
away. All right, that's right. It's gone. It's we lost it today.
For your commitment to the show.
Could a PR firm pay you $50 to see Bottoms?
If I pay you $50, we actually do a good job on the show.
Dude, if you pay $50, I'll fucking write whatever you want my dad's obituary.
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty sweet. Who's reading?
Obits are expensive.
Are they?
Can you end it with Bottoms is tight?
Actually, I can't.
Dude, you got to like lose it at the end of your dad's eulogy and you start crying and be like, I can't believe you never got to see Bottoms. People would be so confused. Like, what the fuck is
What are you
Bottoms?
talking about?
I think it might be gay porn.
Was he abused? What?
What's happening?
Does Bottoms do that? All
right, yeah.
Ted Peterson on Facebook saw Bottoms. You guys did not overhype it at all.
Nice.
If anything, you may have undersold it a bit.
Tight. How is that possible?
I don't know.
Gushing.
According to Ted, you might have liked it more than us. Amazing movie, says Ted. Megan Jelly Fetty. Okay. Caught a screening of Blue Velvet.
What?
Had never seen with an audience or on big screen, so totally different experience.
It is.
And felt like a special event.
She did it for Van Gogh.
She did. Woman behind me had clearly never seen it, and despite being annoyed by her occasional chatter, it was fun to note that the film still has the ability to get under the skin. Do it for Van Gogh. Mm-hmm. This guy, C. Jones, Bottoms. Plot is weird and not fully rooted in reality, but very funny, and the leads crushed it. Also, Marshawn Lynch is an actor now? Dean Longnecker, Scouts Honor, The Secret Files of the Boy Scouts of America. Glad I watched it, but completely horrified by what I learned.
Oh, no.
As a former scout, I am repulsed by this organization.
What happens when Atticus has to become a scout?
He has to become a
No, when
scout?
he asks to become a scout.
I tell him no.
You said has to.
I thought he said has to. I'm like, what kind of world are we?
It's
Is this a new... It's like Russia, like a
It's
lot
the
of
new draft.
Indentured
Eastern European
scatitude.
countries like demand that they do not just Eastern, like Finland. I think also like you got to do like a year.
Well, it's like It's like a K-pop star. Like you're famous, then you got
compulsory service.
Yeah. For the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, when you're 8, you have to register for the draft.
Bunch of rosy like chubby like white dudes going, they have to do it. It's the new law we just passed. Come on.
Keep
Send
the
your
country
boys.
safe. Keep them whittling. Michelle Edgar on Facebook. Oh, speaking of Boy Scouts, I saw a movie. Michelle Edgar on Facebook from TIFF. The Zone of Interest. Best Jonathan Glazer film yet. Amazing direction.
Wait, how did she see it?
From
That's not out yet.
TIFF? Is that
Oh, she saw it at TIFF.
Toronto
no,
International
this is not
Film
TIFF. Who was at TIFF?
Michelle Edgar.
Michelle, you son of a bitch.
Went to TIFF.
You daughter of a bitch. I'm so jealous of you.
Oh.
God, I cannot wait for
I was about
that.
to tell you about it. Zone of Interest. Best Jonathan Glazer film yet.
No way.
Amazing direction and cinematography. I don't think I've ever wanted to rewatch Kill a bit. What? Okay. I don't think I ever want to rewatch. Sorry, it was a confusing paragraph.
I thought she said she couldn't wait to rewatch.
I don't think I ever want to rewatch.
I heard she wants to.
Kill.
Confounding.
Kill. A bit like The Raid on a Train, but with a sweet love story and lots of amazing, very contained action. Loved it. And finally, Gonzo Girl. Willem Dafoe captures the essence of Hunter S. Thompson perfectly.
Terrific.
I saw a little Boy Scout action in Clovich Killer.
Oh, you said the
Clovich.
Monkey stuff.
Monkey stuff. Very good. Less humor than I would have thought. I thought there was for some
That
reason
one
more
scene
humor.
really
That's it.
crushes it with the humor. I
Top
don't think
five
that's
serial
what
killers.
they're going for.
There's
but
not much else. You know what tried to crush with the humor?
what?
I was assigned a film,
Oh no.
By who?
unofficially.
Oh no, because I handed you freaks. Oh, you didn't like the
Brian,
freaks?
Brian said, this is not a gift.
It's not.
You didn't like freaks?
It's not my favorite film.
It's like being handed something and it follows.
I didn't.
It's not a gift.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't fully understand.
You're allowed to speak your mind
I
here.
didn't fully understand the joy and the
The-
purpose
really?
of the attraction. Yeah.
I found it to be very funny.
When was the last time you saw?
Not that long ago, maybe 5-6 years ago.
Okay, it's recent.
Yeah, like I had never heard of it, and I came across this goofy like late '80s movie
It's
about
very of its time for sure.
Yeah,
it's
but
very.
the fact that I had not been made aware of it. It's an Alex Winter movie. I think it's the first film that he directed.
Dog-faced boy.
I used to really like his
Dogface Boy.
his stuff, like music videos that he would like. They were like little mini movies, little shorts
Yeah.
that he would do for like the Butthole Surfers. Very outlandish, out of the comfort zone type of stuff.
Yeah.
He makes really good documentaries today. We just did the YouTube Effect, and he's done all sorts of things. But I really like that Freaked. It was very goofy, and
It had its moments.
there's the outhouse scene in particular where they're searching around. I remember that being particularly funny. And it's been a number of years, so don't hold me to it. I'm sorry.
There was a man who perpetually farts. I was surprised by.
I didn't care for that. I didn't care for that.
I might love this movie.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I took a swing. I thought maybe
Yeah,
you'd
you
like
took a
it.
swing.
Yeah. It was more like how, because it was a big movie, kind of, right?
Mr.
For its
T was
time.
great.
Mr. T was great. For the fact that I had never seen a clip of this. I'd
That
never
is
heard
odd.
it mentioned.
Yeah.
It had been buried somehow, and I was so
Especially
taken by
considering the
that.
cast. I mean, the cast is loaded.
All right, now we're going to talk about Freaked.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. I guess
Brooke
because you
Shields,
can't
Mr. T, Alex Winter.
even- you can't even find this thing. You have to have it on DVD.
Let's not talk about inaccessible films.
I know. I agree. It's probably on YouTube.
What
somewhere.
is a woman?
Alex Winter co-directed. Brooke Shields, William Sadler over there. You got the
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Bobcat. Everyone's in this
Randy
movie.
Quaid.
Everyone's in this.
What's wrong with you? I almost called you Brybeck because I'm so used to chastise.
So angry.
What's wrong with you,
So
Avery?
normally what
John Hawkes is in it as cowboy.
Normally that's what
John
what
Fucking
comes
Hawkes.
after what's wrong with you. Is like Bryba.
Mr. T plays get this bearded lady.
I remember that.
The makeup was abrasive.
Okay, all right. I mean, they had a lot of big makeup pieces, right? You had to like
Makeup
show.
was off-putting.
It was off-putting. Yeah.
Speaking of pudding. Oh no. I know where you're on.
terrible minds. Do we do talk to him?
do a
Talk to me. I mean,
I thought you were gonna say "Talk to the Hand."
do we do talk to me
That was
first,
the alternate title.
or do we do the one that we both saw that was assigned? What do we do here? The Wailing.
I saw 2 films that were assigned.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Before I forget,
The Adventures of Tintin. Are you talking about?
which
Or-
one was the most horrifying?
For me? No joke here. Like, okay, The Wailing is 2.5 hour Korean horror film, which is very off-putting. It does not go down smooth.
Right.
It's hard to watch. Right. But I was more upset while watching The Adventures of Tintin, without a doubt. without a doubt. Like,
What are you shocked that up
More
to?
traumatic.
for me, I was more aggravated and squirming more with the Tintin. I really dislike this movie. I fucking hate this movie.
Did you encounter the douche chills?
Throughout, it was just a steady stream. It
was unrelenting.
But you might like it. I don't know. I think a lot of people will like this movie. I think it's more me here. So
I don't think I've ever disliked a movie more that I can say that's objectively above average. Like, it's a well-made.
Then what? You talking about Tintin?
Yeah.
I thought you would have liked Tintin.
No, I just.
Guess what? Okay, Jonathan Oxorn. Jonathan Oxorn, friend of the show. He assigned us Tintin.
Repeated listener artist.
Yes,
he's very talented.
We love Mount Rushmore of film listener artists.
I've shared beers with this man up in the Seattle area. I gave him the warning because I didn't have a chance to talk to him. He said, "You don't even have to talk to me with this one. Just watch it." If you recall, he was going to have us watch Lars von Trier's Dogville. Right. But that was only available on Mubi, so he switched to one of his favorite movies from a number of years ago called Adventures of Tintin. Not one of his favorite movies, but he liked it quite a bit when he saw it. And then when I talked to Chris Terry just yesterday, who assigned us a very different movie in the Korean horror film called The Wailing, which was critic darling a few years ago when it came out. When I told him, well, don't worry, I didn't have nearly as tough a time watching The Wailing as I did watching The Adventures of Tintin. He's like, no way, I love that movie. So a lot of people.
Were these children when they saw it?
I think that all right, why don't you take it away and let's just get it. Before. Atticus is he's grounded for my 6-year-old is grounded for the first time ever.
Oh, tell.
You should make him watch Tintin.
He's got 2 more days of groundation.
Wow.
The main thing that you do when you're grounding a 6-year-old is no screen time, like no video games. You can't watch any of his little shows or anything. So it's been almost, it's been 12 days of no shows, no screen time. As I was leaving, I wanted to show him the pickpocket scene, which is done. There's a lot of really well done things in The Adventures of Tintin.
There's some Spielberg-esque things.
Let's get all that. It's like Spielberg just. he's like swimming in his own semen in this movie. All right, so I'm sorry that was graphic and unnecessary.
This winter, Steven Spielberg swims in his own semen.
His most personal film.
The Adventures of Tintin.
So I showed him the pickpocket scene. I said, and then I turned it off. I'm like, all right, that's enough. You got to see, what a criminal looks like. And then he goes and he talks to the wife.
Oh, no.
This is just like an hour and a half ago. And then he goes, Mom says I can watch the pickpocket movie. I'm like, really? Well, that's not what it's called. It's called The Adventures of Tintin. And he's like, okay, I'm so excited. I get to watch The Adventures of...
Wow.
He starts chanting Tintin as I'm leaving the house. He's chanting Tintin.
It's a nightmare for you.
No, he might like it. He might love it.
I'm saying it might be a horrible outcome.
It's a movie made for him.
And then it's in your rotation.
Look, I could see a lot of people liking this movie.
The service says, based on your love of Tintin.
Oh.
All right, this is available streaming on Paramount Plus.
The Adventures of Tintin is a 2011 film directed by Steven Spielberg, starring the vocal talents of Jamie Bell, Andy Serkis, Daniel Craig, Toby Jones, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg. 74% of Rotten Tomatoes. Like Anderson said, this is streaming on Paramount Plus. It is based on a series of French comic books.
I'm reading my notes.
And it was nominated for Best Original Score.
That's it? Not like animation?
Not Best Adventure?
Okay, Jamie Bell plays Tintin. I like Jamie Bell quite a bit as an actor. I like him when he plays a skinhead. I like him when he's playing...
I like him when he plays
Skin. He was great in Skin. I did not like him in Tintin. I did not like him as Tintin. In fact, my very first note is Tintin's a bit of a cunt. Why not just let the guy have the ship?
I don't know where this
No story.
From. Okay, where did we start? How old is Tintin?
14,
Somewhere,
13.
I thought he was like 22.
I don't think so. He doesn't drive or anything.
He travels the world independently and is a published author.
He is a publisher.
Yeah, they keep showing all his clippings. He has dozens. He's also famous because
it's from his own books, though, so it's self-referential. That's going back to like the Tintin books that have makes him popular enough to.
In this world, he is a published journalist, such to the point that someone knows who he is. Like, oh, you're the man who broke, or you're the kid, and they constantly refer to him as a kid. Everyone's like, hey, kid.
Everyone's older than him. Everybody.
So how old is he?
He sounds like he's 12 or 13.
He sounds like a little boy.
He knows everything. He's telling all the adults around him how things are. And you can't help but think, I don't hate Spielberg, but I think this is Spielberg's idea of himself.
Right.
I think he was a bit of a wonder boy. I think he had a lot of the answers, and I think that he talked down to adults. And I
Tintin
can't
is
stand,
proxy for Spielberg.
It felt like it. I can't stand kids talking down to adults who have seen shit.
Tintin Fableman.
This might be more.
The Adventures of Fableman.
This might be more personal than Fableman, the Fable Fox. Really.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Like Tintin, half the movie is a two-hander, and it's him and this old grizzled pirate, right? Played by
This
Circus.
sad alcoholic who we're supposed to root for.
But the sad alcoholic, he's an alcoholic because the atrocities that he's seen in his travels. And Tintin doesn't give a shit about any of that. Tintin's just like, here's how it is, old man. Fuck you, Tintin. Get the fuck out of here, Tintin. I hate Tintin so much.
Ostensibly
I hate
for
him.
kids, but it is not for children. It's like
We'll
children-
see, because Atticus, by the time I get back, it will have been downloaded in his
Well, you
brain.
might think, okay, Atticus might love the dog, Snowy or Snowball.
Even the dog was like, like of all the dogs, go with the terrier? That kind of dog?
Fucking stupid, or did everyone else assume that Tintin was the dog?
Well, I think because Rin Tin Tin is just, I think that's where the confusion comes in. But
So there is a Tintin.
look, if you're a
who has
70-year-old
dog.
man, you probably grew up reading Tintin books.
That's a decent point. Okay.
I knew kids when I was growing up who read Tintin.
Did you?
Yeah, Tintin's always kind of in the rotation.
Really?
At least
I never-
was.
I've never heard
I was a
of it.
Hardy Boys boy.
Yeah.
Hardy's boy, man.
I was
all right.
Encyclopedia Brown. I don't know why I sniffed.
Tintin seemed a bit dry.
You didn't read Encyclopedia Brown?
No, Brian, look at me.
You didn't read it?
Do I look like an encyclopedia fucking reader?
You know what? You're more of a Bugs meanie.
I'm more of a watch Three's Company on a loop
Anderson.
and eat mac and cheese and be sad is what I am.
The bully in Encyclopedia Brown was named Bugs Meanie.
Okay, so that's weird.
Meanie. Because he's mean.
Brian, there was so much slapstick in this movie, and I didn't know how to react to it. Was I supposed to be laughing when people were falling down?
There
Was I
are myriad
You're supposed to be
problems.
falling down with laughter.
You need to watch this movie.
I don't.
I still...
I suffer. I do not.
Actually, Avery, fire up the trailer on silent and just watch it for a minute, because my biggest problem with the movie, and they are myriad, but my
I'm
biggest
surprised.
problem...
I thought you would have liked this.
No.
10 years ago, you would have loved it.
No, I don't think I would have. The animation is off-putting.
I hate it. Just the still.
Yes.
Is awful.
Like, when I said off-putting, I was talking about the uncanny valley of the animation. Like, the characters are in that weird spot they talk about where they're too realistic and they're not animated enough. Like, there's a reason nobody has any nostalgia for Polar Express.
Polar Express, I was about
It's
to
the
say.
same thing. I'm watching these weird-looking, waxy characters who I don't like. They upset me.
They're experimenting with the medium, right?
Yeah,
They're trying
the
to figure
experiment
things
failed.
out. I think that he was kind of doing like, can I do AI yet? Like, I think he was looking at that almost.
Like, literally AI.
Well, like the movie AI, he was trying to
It's a
figure
Kubrick
out
film.
what year did AI come out.
Oh, one.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm totally off because
Oh,
this came out
two.
way after. Did he do it that quickly after Kubrick died? I can't even think about
He
AI.
looks very
AI makes me
punchable.
so upset. Yeah. I just wanted to punch him right in his fucking face the entire movie. I hated this kid.
There are like adventure sequences, like the car chase, and there's
plane
some
bit was
fun
really good.
stuff. Yeah, there's some fun stuff in this movie, but so many flaws.
And it was so loud, it felt like when Lucas tried to reinvent Star Wars, and there was just so much going on. Like it was almost like
It was cacophonous.
Spielberg was like, "I can do even more on the screen. Watch this, Lucas,
This would. Oh yeah.
Georgie, check this out. Even more things are happening on the screen." I counted two women about an hour 20 in. There had been two
That's
women.
too
that-
many.
Oh,
that
I
represent-
only counted one.
No, there was another one. There was a woman early on, and then there was
The woman who enters the door.
the older, and then there's an older woman later on in the movie.
Is one of these guys modeled after Spielberg?
Not.
One of these fucks looks like Spieley.
Which one? Oh, like the.
I'm just seeing the trailer. I don't know. One of them kind of looks like a young
is he
Spieley.
dressed spiffy?
He's got a beard and he's kind of spiffy and he's got little glasses.
Does he look like a drinker or like a?
No, he's not the
a-
drinker.
Like a
He's-
intellectual.
that's Daniel Craig.
Intellectual.
Yeah, that's the. No, I think that if anyone is modeled after Spieley here, it's Tintin. This is how I think Spielberg modeled his childhood after Tintin.
You know what? I thought actually would have enraged you for a brief but intense burst when there are lens flares in an animated film.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, of
Spielberg's
course.
signature lens flares.
Yeah, of course, Brian. They're experimenting with the medium in all the wrong ways. And also, it was 3D. And
Flares.
when you know that it's 3D,
Oh.
I'm gonna
You
see
didn't
how
know
far
that?
I can get by the time
That
this
I
episode's
didn't
done.
watch the
that makes you even more
I know.
enraged because you're just like, oh, look at that stupid shot that they did for like the audience.
Adds up a lot.
This
Yes.
is a movie that, you know what?
This
I
movie
feel
takes
bad
place
because I
in-
know that people listening have a really soft
There's
spot
an
in their
interminable amount of time spent on that ship.
a lot of time on the ship. I was
The
a little
middle
seasick.
act is all on the ship.
This is the kind of movie that, like, in the universe that is Idiocracy, it might be like a really, really popular movie.
Oh, this is like a celebrated.
That's too mean. That's too mean. I took it too far.
Yeah, now you're personally insulting people.
Here, if you got kids, try and put this on. I would not
I think
recommend.
kids would be bored. It's
But we're-
long too.
I think there's a certain age group that saw this at a certain time when they're experimenting with the medium and it was new, and because I hated the idea of this movie to begin with, and I was too cool when it came out. I was too cool for school, too old.
Yeah, it feels like if 11-year-old boys saw this in the
Oxorn's
theater
markedly-
and like on 3D, I'll bet it blew their minds.
Yeah. I feel bad because I love Oxorn. You know we love you, buddy. And I gave you a heads up, and I said I hate.
And
this
he's not
movie.
alone. The other guy you talked to
Yeah.
was a Tintin fan.
Yeah, he was.
Off
Chris
putting.
Terry also enjoyed. All right. Well, you know what? Two very different movies. Other than the dog involvement, Dogville is a far different film than Tintin, and that's what
What is
Oxorn.
Dogville?
That's what he wanted to have us watch
Oh.
initially. So
What would you have preferred?
I feel bad. I don't know. I've not seen Dogville, but I don't love Lars Van Trier either, and I would like to. It wouldn't be that hard for me to ban Lars Van Trier for his political beliefs, because I don't really love his movies.
Oh.
They're interesting. Antichrist.
Let me correct myself and say the movie's only like an hour and 48 or so. Feels long. Feels real long.
My last note was the shitty dog, and then I just wrote all terrible. The setup for the continuation was real cringe.
Oh, boy.
Like, here we go. This is going to be a big hit that
Hey,
everyone's
get
going
ready, kids.
Every summer, a new Tintin. No.
We're going to be doing this until the end of time.
The young, smug kid having all the answers. I thought you would appreciate him. I
No.
thought you'd be like, hey, this is my kind of guy.
If this was
Too
done
much
in
hair.
if this was done in the style of Spider-Verse, this could work.
Well, I mean, that didn't exist back then, Brian. That'd be like
I
watching.
realize that if they did like a sequel or one another in the series or something.
I think they're I think they were trying to figure out just how they could make a movie with all of the. It was a modern. They're experimenting. I think they're experimenting with a story that they liked, and maybe it all boils down to Tintin just being a concept.
I feel like it would have been
He's unlikable.
better if they just made it in the style of the books, the original graphic novel.
They have it was a fun little semi-clever thing where he's holding up an actual animation of him looking just like that, and then he drops the magazine and we see the new Tintin's face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has the old timey Jughead looking representation of the old Tintin.
There's
I think that could have been more fun.
Maybe you'll like it if you read it.
I read some, but
Too dry.
just the trailer was upsetting.
The soundless trailer.
I didn't enjoy the faces.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a mystery. It's like, it ticks all the boxes as far as following clues, and I could see kids from the 40s loving this.
Long dead kids from the 40s.
I mean, that would blow in their minds. Like if this movie came out like the same summer that Wizard of Oz came out, I think it would have been a big hit.
Probably.
Because they'd be like, what is this color? And what is this animation?
What am I seeing?
What am I seeing? How are all these actors that haven't been born yet playing the parts?
How did Walt Disney draw this by hand?
Who is Walt Disney? I think they'd be asking.
Wow.
All right. We've had enough fun. What
was it?
What are you researching, buddy? Daniel Craig played the guy you were talking about that looked like he might have been modeled
Oh,
after
I'm in.
Spielberg. Yep.
Oh, is this okay? That makes sense.
Brian.
I'm looking at the Oscars. Why this did not get nominated for Best Animated Feature?
Did he really do AI? Is that how little I know about AI?
Rango came out that year.
But I'm confused if that's
still haven't seen that one.
If that's the 2011 ceremony honoring 2010 films or the 2012 ceremony honoring 2011. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Because
What are we doing? This is the worst version of the show we've ever done.
We're seeing if Tintin was or wasn't nominated for an Oscar and why.
It's always the year after. So if you're looking at like the 2011 winners, you look at 2012 Oscars.
well, actually, that's exactly wrong. The 84th Academy Awards were honoring the 2011 films.
When did the 84th Academy Awards telecast?
2012.
Yes, that's what I just said.
I'm reading the listing on Wikipedia.
I said 2012 will tell you the winners of
I agree.
2011.
So this is some real
guy.
damnation because That was a weak year for Best Animated Feature. Rango won, beating out Puss in Boots, Kung Fu Panda 2, Chico and Rita, and A Cat in Paris. Ooh,
God.
Tintin couldn't even sneak in there.
I was hoping that maybe this was just an experiment and they were trying to figure out if they could actually make CGI characters realistic enough to make his beloved AI that he bastardized from Kubrick. But you're right, because you love AI apparently.
I really do.
AI came out in 2001, so Kubrick's body was barely cold when he made this.
His fingerprints were all over it.
No, they weren't, Brian. Oh, what AI would have been.
How Kubrick directed AI would have been pretty amazing.
Somebody who likes to upset me, likes to push my buttons, they said, I saw AI. I feel like Kubrick's involvement ruined it.
Is this the same guy who thinks that Affleck is the better actor?
No, that's one of your buddies, I think.
One of the same guy.
Yeah. Oh, it could be.
All right.
Melissa McCarthy was nominated for an Oscar for Bridesmaids?
Yeah, that was a
coming out party.
Huge breakout.
Okay. Yeah, every now and again, the Academy will see somebody they're not familiar with, and they tickle them, and they're like, let's nominate.
Yep. Bring them to the party.
What the fuck is A Cat in Paris?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a couple of films that I'm not familiar with.
Times change, too. I mean, if Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris came out that year, it would have swept the Oscars probably. And now they just get completely overlooked because it's a different generation. Okay.
Hugo was great that year.
Let's take a break. I will come back and we'll talk about a very interesting Korean film called The Wailing.
Yeah.
That was assigned to us by Chris Terry. And the lead here is Talk to Me. Well, unless you got another, do you have a big sexy or nothing?
No, I have Lola.
He didn't see
which I'm
Bottoms.
kicking out the can down the road.
And he did not see Bottoms.
I will be seeing Bottoms soon.
What is this show? How do people listen to this? No new information. None.
It's all new.
No, the newest thing is me talking about Talk to Me, which came out like a month ago.
All right, we'll talk about that after this.
Fiddly Bridges.
Conflict between the pirate and
Yeah, like if you just remove that little bastard from his own movie, it's acceptable. Like I would have been able to choke it down without.
That's
the
a
hatred.
really good point.
You would have enjoyed the adventures.
If it was just the dog running around and we had to fill in the blanks, we're good to go.
Tintin has almost no agency in that movie. Like it comes down to the conflict between the pirate, the alcoholic, and the other guy.
His entire point is to help dumber adults than him understand what the next move should be. That's all it is. It's him just saying, no, we can't do this. Hey, we got to go over there. Oh, don't you know what this means? You don't? Well, I'll tell you. Oh, that little.
What a revelation.
I would pay top dollar to do some kind of simulation where I get to go into some kind of virtual reality world and just chop him down.
Just speed bag him.
Just give me a sword and just let me have my way with him. I would pay. I don't know how much money.
I bet that's doable.
I would love to.
If any of our listeners are in the AI space,
I'd love to do the Wailing him.
Oh my.
Oh yes.
Oh no. The Wailing.
The Wailing
is a 2016 film written and directed by Ha Hong Jim. This will
be fun.
99% on Rotten Tomatoes, the aforementioned Rotten Tomatoes. You can stream this on Prime Video. Anderson, what are your thoughts on The Wailing?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you a little bit and get into what it's all about and what you think maybe the bottom line is. And maybe there's a few interpretations. Maybe he's trying to say a few things, the director here. I do feel like it's a personal film.
There's a lot of open to interpretation.
I missed some of maybe if not the majority of what he was trying to lay down. In talking to Chris Terry, who assigned it to us, wholeheartedly disagrees with my interpretation. Now, Chris already seen this movie twice, and he probably is correct, but
which is,
I mean, before getting, I think we'll talk about that towards the end. So, the story is this: it's like a cop who's in the small village, which apparently has a lot of. I equated it in talking to Chris that it's kind of like the New Orleans of that part of Korea, where like a bunch of
known hauntings
and spiritual stuff goes on, and it is. Very what's the word? Holy in some respects. haunted and
Yeah, but
sacred.
saying like revered or something.
Yeah, and I guess that the director, he had been going through some stuff, and this was a very personal story when he wrote it. And the story follows this. They would like us to believe that he's like a baby Huey, like detective, kind of doughy and doe-eyed and innocent, and he's got a family. And
well, it was a bold choice casting a sort of, like you said, doughy cop as our hero, right? Like he's sort of a bumbling detective.
But they were really pushing the bumbling side, and I never really quite attached to that or bought that. It felt put on. It felt like a decision.
Yes, to the point that there were times early on where I was really having trouble identifying with the tone of the film. I'm like, is this a comedy? Am I supposed to be laughing at this throughout?
I don't think
because there's times where it's slapsticky.
And that is kind of like I've noticed that with Korean films, that there are sometimes like wild tonal shifts. And
yes,
I brought up like
I literally wrote down wild tonal shifts.
But for the most part, this one nailed the tone for me as far as just being very.
Well, it settled in about halfway through. For me, early on,
I mean, with the visuals and the families and the crime scene, so he comes across he
and his partner, they're constantly bickering.
But they come across like really horrific things that make it real and kind of plant it in reality early on.
Okay, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I wasn't like, is this goofball? Okay, I realized it was pretty serious.
There were times where I was like, is this going to be like a dark comedy?
It was way more than 7 than I think I've ever seen before. Like this.
Yeah, I had 7 vibes for sure.
Had a whole lot of 7 vibes. If 7 doesn't exist, I was like, holy shit! I would be like, this movie is like nothing I'd ever seen before. It definitely has some Exorcist. It's like a Korean 7 meets The Exorcist movie. Sexorcist. It opens up with a biblical quote, which kind of sets the tone too, which usually if you're looking for a slapsticky comedy, you don't open with a biblical quote.
True.
The quote was, "See my hands and my feet. That it is I myself. Touch me and see, for a spirit does not have flesh and bones as you see that I have." And that's Luke 24:37-39. I don't know how you say Bible verses. I feel like my skin's burning just as I say it.
I'm going to have a Bible verse that opens up my film. Is that okay?
I mean, you do what you want.
Okay, it's going to say Jesus wept. It's the shortest verse in the Bible.
Is it?
It is.
Give us this day our daily bread.
No, that's longer.
I know, but can you open up?
Oh,
that's the only thing I know from the Bible.
Like Hail Mary, full of grace.
Yeah. All right, and then it follows up.
Jesus wept.
It follows that line up with like a really graphic murder scene, which kind of like, here you are, you're in the Wailing, like let's get this going. So it's him going through trying to figure out what's causing these people to become infected and then turn on their own families. And they're showing you everything. They don't hold back. There's no punches pulled here. We are seeing graphic crime scenes. And when he does come across a known suspect who they believe might be responsible, and they find his shrine, for lack of a better term, it was right up there with the John Doe from 7. As far as just you just feel icky watching this movie.
That's when I decided there was no comedy coming.
there really wasn't. And talking to Chris, I'm like, I feel like there was one scene which was purposely funny, but I couldn't recall it because I've seen this about a week ago, and it is over 2.5 hours, so there's a lot to take in. I know there's people out there that love. This is like Ari Aster too. Like if you really liked Hereditary,
sure.
I think it's a similar tone to that.
Yeah.
There's people that are going to love this movie.
Oh god.
I was just gonna say this is not geared towards me, and that's one of my problems. Is like, I'm not a big horror guy. I can appreciate them, but I even have a hard time selling them because like I would never talk to certain people in my life who don't like horror films. I will not talk to them about this movie. I was never bored. I enjoyed watching this as much as you can, watching something as unsettling as this.
Right.
But the story arc and where it ended up, I took it as almost like a fable, the themes of infidelity. But I think maybe I'm stretching.
You're stretching a little bit.
You think so?
There's a lot of father-daughter stuff in here, and also undercurrent going on. But that said, I agree with what you said, which is I much more admired this movie than I did enjoy it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't having a good time. I don't plan on revisiting much about this. That said, it's undeniably a good movie.
Great set pieces, great set design, and great effects. I guess the guy stumbling about. There was also some mushroom talk about like the spores maybe, and that's The Last of Us is big on the whole mushroom takeover.
When they go to the hunter guy to like find the house in the woods, that's very silly, as I recall.
Do you think there's any grifting going on without getting into with spoiler territory? But do you think?
Maybe what?
Should we do a quick little spoiler on this, like maybe a 3-minute spoiler on this movie?
No.
All right.
I mean, pure film.
Chris Terry had some very interesting takes on it, and I think he might have been right. And like he had the ability to watch it twice.
Well, tell me about the grifting.
I don't want to because it'll give away things, and some people will love this movie.
And it's on Peacock and Amazon Prime for the
Yes.
Adventures.
Grifting, as in like someone paid to have like someone put in.
Why do you gotta?
I know what you're talking about.
No one paid
No,
to
like
have
the
someone
plot
in the
line.
movie.
Grifting in the plot
a
line.
Human product placement, a people placement.
Grift means like a scam, right?
Yes, of course I do. Of course. All right, we're doing a spoiler. It's been settled.
I don't want to.
We're doing. I don't care. I will have Avery push record, and we're going to talk about it. I can't believe that Brian can't understand that grifting might be part of a plot of a movie. What?
But
So you
he-
mean outside the movie, like the producer's son
That's
was
not what
paid?
you meant.
Why would you think that?
But he can believe that you don't know what grifting is.
Yes, he can easily believe that.
So I was-
Comfortably.
Yeah, I was convinced that you were like saying the wrong word.
Okay, of course you
You
were.
mean grafting? like taking something and putting it on.
Putting like the
something
skin, skin
Yeah,
grafting.
skin
Griping?
A lot of characters in this movie could have used some skin grafting after they had their problems.
else. That's true.
There was a vomit scene that was
Off-putting.
very impressive that they were able to do so much vomit and not play it for laughs.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that much vomit in a movie that wasn't The Exorcist where it wasn't played for laughs.
Oh, yeah. Team America is an obvious example.
It was played for
Not
laughs.
played for laughs.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I
it's
feel like you might have misinterpreted that.
I misinterpreted. So you
Like
graft your
freaked.
thoughts?
Like freaked.
I misinterpreted freaked as funny, I guess. I
Yeah.
stand by freaked.
It's off-putting.
If I had a Blu-ray player at my house hooked up, I would watch this right now.
What do you think is more
I don't-
off-putting, Freaked or Tintin? After having seen,
He hasn't
2
seen
minutes,
Tintin,
2
so why
minutes
would you ask him
Tintin.
that
I
question?
think maybe Tintin.
really?
Well, let me ask you this: what's more off-putting, the Wailing or Tintin?
Okay, one involves copious amounts of death and suffering. The other,
Graphic violence.
Yeah, the other
Animals being
has
eaten by
weird
humans.
animation. Has a weird animation. I gotta go with Tintin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you took my blood pressure, it's way up.
Oh yeah, I was more
Throughout
upset
Tintin.
during
Yeah,
Tintin.
exactly. Like I wanted to run while watching The Wailing. I was like scared for the characters. I was.
You were more troubled and disturbed by what was on the screen during Tintin.
Yeah.
One film of those two made me question my life's choices.
Oh,
It was
because
not. It was not.
oh, Jonathan Oxorn, you're taking so much abuse, so your pick is. You're not necessarily. He's so good at the show too. This happens
Yeah.
sometimes. We're honest. The flight or fight, right? Fight or
I
flight.
was on a flight.
That doesn't
on a
help.
flight?
Fight or flight. Like flight was being drawn out of me constantly. Like my lizard brain was like flight must run from the Wailing, and the entire time watching Tintin was just fight. I just wanted to fucking choke that kid. I was so it was an exhausting week watching
Yeah.
You're
movies.
telling me.
A lot of adrenaline.
A lot of adrenaline both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's finish it up, Bray,
Speaking of adrenaline.
with a little talk to me.
Talk to me about.
Talk. I should pull
This
up
film.
the notes. I don't know. I should have had this. This is all on me. I should have.
Can't handle your notes.
You can rent this right now at home if you'd like, and invite the neighborhood over to watch Talk to Me. Have a little movie night. $20 will get you the rental, or you can go see it in theaters. It's still playing in theaters. It is an Australian film.
I'm
It
out.
is directed by Danny. Wait for it.
Boyle?
Philippou,
Aiello.
as well as Michael Philippou.
At least I named a director, Avery.
It is starring Ari McCarthy, Hamish Phillips, Kit, Errett Bruce, and it is. Did I mention it's Australian?
Australia, mate.
I can sum this up pretty easily without getting into it too much. It's about what if high school age kids
Okay.
were to come across an artifact or what do you call it, a talisman that can conjure the dead,
Okay.
and there's
So
rules
high
in place.
concept.
Yes, and just like kids are experimenting with drugs all the time, and they get together and they try the drugs and they see how far they can push it, and they're playing with things that they should not be playing with. that's what this movie is playing with throughout the entire thing, is this hand that they get that we're not sure exactly who got it. A couple of, like, the high school, like, almost borderline bullies, would you say?
It's like a monkey paw.
The bullies / misfits.
Yes. Well, the one kid's not really so much a misfit. He's kind of like a jock almost. But the
Yeah, but
other,
they're
like,
kind of, yeah.
the lesbian girl, who is she even a lesbian girl? Is that even a girl?
Or she's maybe trans. I don't know. I
Tell me more.
wasn't sure.
But she's kind of calling the shots, and she has access to this talisman, to this hand, this monkey's paw, and a lot of people are familiar with it, and they want to have a little party around it.
And it's going viral. It's all in their social media circles, and they're seeing videos of it getting passed around.
They're familiar. This little circle is familiar, and they think it's fake. They think people are pretending to do the thing where you hold the hand and say, ultimately, you say, let me in, or talk to me, and then you say, let me in, and then they become possessed as a word. We're not sure if, well, it wouldn't be a movie if it wasn't true when it was a horror film. So that's the basis of the story. There's like a love triangle that's involved with this, and
95 minutes, brisk.
it is so well done with the actual possession. And
Yes.
it is like, first time it happens, it's just really well executed and cut together, and the sound and everything. Like, you're in that room, and you're seeing this
Will
happen.
non-horror film fans like this?
I think you'll appreciate it, and it's easier to appreciate than something like The Wailing, which was a little bit more of a reach, I think, for non-horror fans.
And it's quick.
And it's well, yeah, the whole movie is like 95 minutes, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
But like, you want more of that, like, when it's done, because it all happens so fast. You're on edge, and like, is she gonna do it? She does it. What's happening? The one quibble I have, Avery, like, tell me if you do too, is they all want more. They love it, but we don't. We see that they see a dead body in the room, right? But we don't see what they're actually getting with this euphoric feeling when they're like back in the chair. And it's definitely borrowing from Get Out with shots and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they want more. They love it. And we don't ever find out what that is.
No, I would imagine that didn't bother me too much.
like
It
the
didn't really occur to
high
me.
of
Maybe
it.
it's just that you get a rush from the fact that something inhabited you.
Yeah.
That it's just something extreme, right? Because even if, people return to hallucinogens, even if they have a bad trip, because
Right.
that intensity and that experience. So it might be just that, or just the adrenaline of like, holy shit, I
wish
did
they
it.
explained it or something. I wish that they just like let us know, like, oh my God, that is a feeling I never had. It was like total weightlessness and euphoria.
Yeah, because I don't
Give
think
me
they really
something.
describe it. They're just like, oh, holy shit.
Or even like they did it because they love the attention that they're getting. All the, all like, there'll be like a room with 12 kids. Like, this happens probably 3 or 4 times in the movie where like they get together. It's like a small little house party almost. Adults
Yeah,
are
it's a little
gone,
kickback.
and they're sitting on the couch and they put someone in the chair. They even bring out a belt. I mean, if you're not already thinking about heroin and all the other things that kids are dying from and fucking with these days, they bring the belt out to belt them to the chair. I don't think that was an accident. And they go through this ritual, and it's just really, really well done filmmaking as far as it. Now the story,
And them tilting back and forth, and it was fun.
yeah, it was. Seeing it on the big screen definitely helped.
It was jubilant that time when they're just mainlining it, where they're just going possession after possession. It's a very fun little sequence. That 2 minutes of them just going one
Intense.
character after another, after another, after another.
If you were to see this on the big screen, I think you would get way more out of it too.
It was great
because it is very well put together, and
I wish I had
imagine-
seen this with a full audience.
Yeah, this was the.
Should.
Or even at your house, like if this comes out, streaming at a more.
I'm sure. Well,
price,
for
like,
Halloween,
around
this would be a
Halloween.
good one to have a
Halloween
party.
time.
Get everyone together, yeah, because it's intense. It
Yeah.
is. Ultimately, where the story goes, I wasn't as drawn to the end product and where it was. Not the very, very end, but
Yeah, I thought what I thought was interesting is Mia is not the most likable main character. She makes very realistic teenage decisions.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the time I was going, fuck this girl. This is the most irresponsible shit. And I went, oh yeah, that's what a teenager would do to try to fix this or think this was the adult thing to do, or well, I can handle this. And
I got the answer. Here's what we have to do, which is totally counterintuitive to all common sense.
yeah,
but-
wildly irresponsible and making it worse.
But the stuff with the parents was a little heavy-handed at times. Her dad kept calling. She kept hanging up on him. I'm like, all right, well, let's just get to this because obviously we're going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
And
The kids were fucking great.
the kids were really good, yeah. Speaking of the kids.
And the cold open, Jesus Christ.
cold open.
Where you first see the effects, that party where the guy's looking for his brother.
Oh, yes, that was the cold open. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. It's a cold
Nice.
open that kind of leaves you
Hold
like,
open with a knife.
what just happened? Like, why did that happen?
Did you see this, Brian?
Why
No,
the,
it's
damn
not.
it.
why the
It's
knife?
so-
Why doesn't he see movies?
He doesn't. And he's too busy
I started
gallivanting.
liking movies all of a sudden 5 minutes ago. You guys tell me. It's playing
too
semi
late.
close by for another 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. Then it like goes
Bottoms. Go see Bottoms.
away. Bottoms keeps playing. I can see.
You should see both.
Is it worth going out of my way, jamming it in the next 2 days to see this before it goes away?
I think it's been covered.
No, to enjoy.
I don't think this
I
is
think it would almost be more worth it to rent it during, like, close to Halloween and maybe revisit it then and bring up closer to then, I would
Alright.
think. Right?
Yeah. Or it's just not really
I'm being
Brian's type
dissuaded.
of movie. I don't know if it is Brian's type.
Dissuaded.
I think it's
Brian
one of those
needs-
horror movies that transcends, though.
Well, I mean, it's got to get in the zeitgeist for Brian to respond to it. It's got to
sure.
be
No one's talking
culture
about it
shifting.
over you two
Just to
idiots.
shift culture.
That's true.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised this isn't being talked about more because it's very much one of those that you could see grabbing the cultural
Really?
conscious.
it's-
Yeah, just the very simple, high concept nature of it. The fact that it is scary. It's very good.
That poor kangaroo.
Yeah.
I've seen enough kangaroo trauma. Yeah.
I really liked the end.
I liked the very end.
Really liked the very end and the
It's
way that
reminiscent
wrapped up. I
of
thought it was
another
very
movie
clever.
That I can't say because that would ruin it. But as far as all the conflict and drama that got them there, I was kind of disinterested. I don't know if that's fair.
Fuck, when you see what's happening to the kid, that was
Yeah,
troubling.
that was
That
kinda
was
troubling.
troubling filmmaking.
I'll never forget all this.
I was so upset.
I wish I hated that kid a little more too.
Fuck.
They make you like the kid.
Oh
You're
my
like,
God, when he wakes back up, Jesus Christ.
I might be able to find a link for you, Brian. How about that? Would you like to watch
Oh.
it?
Great.
I'll be able to find a link for you. Okay.
That kid,
I did not see this in the theater, and it still had a very profound effect on me. Yeah. And if you are going to watch it at home, like I did, I highly recommend the biggest screen you can get and headphones. Unless you have a really good sound system, but like headphones are going to be much better.
Rule, yeah.
Than,
do you wish Tintin was inspired by the younger kid?
I wish that, Tintin went through what the younger kid did. They have rules, Brian. They have gremlin-like rules where you're not allowed to feed them after midnight. You're not, it's really simple fucking rules.
You can't be under for more than 90
Don't
seconds.
hold a
I think.
hand for 90 seconds. Just guess what happens.
The rule's broken quickly.
And it might
But for
sound like
seemingly good reason.
selfish reasons.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For the characters involved.
It might sound like I'm giving things away, but I mean, if
You're
you don't
not.
see that coming from a mile away, like
Sure.
you haven't seen.
Oh, the only real reason rules like that exist in movies is to break them and
Yeah.
have chaos ensue.
And that's very early on. That gives very little away.
How dumb am I though? How dumb is my brain that so they set up the rules. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna break the rules. And then when they're getting close to break the rules, I'm like, please don't break the rules. Come on. I'm really hoping that they don't.
That's great filmmaking, right? That's the.
I guess so. Yeah.
You know, we do better as horror every year for Halloween time. We should do top 5 movies that would be better if they never broke the rules.
Never, dude. Yeah.
Gremlins, they just live happily.
Can there
with
be
their
a
little-
movie where like
their
they
little-
just, where there's just no conflict and it's just like, oh, thank God. Oh, they got close. They almost look. It's 11:59. Okay, he's done eating. Okay. Whew. I think I might be satisfied at the end. I'd be like, what's the point? Other than
That'd be a
just
fun twist.
It's your stand up go, oh, thank God.
because so many movies are just a fucking ordeal, right? If it's not a comedy,
Yeah.
it's just an
This
ordeal.
movie, 100%. It was a relief.
This one was like definitely like watching a continued train wreck where you just kept watching the main character make decisions where you're going, why the fuck are you doing this?
Why
Why are you doing this?
Yeah,
Why are you
stop.
doing this?
You know that's gonna happen. Don't do
What are
that.
you doing?
Why the toe in the mouth? But why? Like,
I
that's
forgot about that.
one of the least upsetting graphics you're gonna see in this movie too, and it's a foot in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexual foot in the mouth.
It was an homage to Tarantino. They're big fans.
Understood.
I think these guys have more on the horizon. I think we're going to be seeing more from this this duo. Well, I mean, I know because you look at their IMDb page and they have stuff that's coming up. They have some really interesting stuff right around the corner. If I'm correct on that, I looked.
So do you think that, because I think this transcends horror. I think people who don't run out to see horror, I think this is one of those like Hereditary that transcends that category where you should give it a shot. I think it's good enough where it's a cut above and it's worth trying, even if you're not typically a horror person.
I'm not well versed enough in horror to say that with total confidence, but I think you're right. Like, I have not seen Smile. I don't know if this ticks the same boxes as Smile.
Well,
Some people
but it's something like
Smile.
Barbarian. Barbarian's one of those people should go out and see it.
But by that standard, Anderson, you're the perfect guy to say, like, you don't.
Well, I've
know
not
horror
seen
that
enough
well.
of them, is what I'm
But
saying.
did you enjoy this on a purely
Yeah,
film going?
that's fair. Yeah. And Barbarian's just got such the what the fuck moment. You
And
have
a lot of humor.
Yeah, it's so much humor. Just especially being in real estate, it's just it's even funnier thinking of Justin Long discovering and measuring more square footage.
Pushing the bed with the handcuffs out of the way with his measuring tape.
Is this funny at all?
No.
But there's some good back and forth. There's some mellow moments. There's some good camaraderie. Like the one kid calls the other kid fetus and then makes fun of him. There's some good jovial.
It's very high school. It's not like laugh out loud. It's not Bottoms.
But there's ease. There's moments of ease. It's not just pure dread.
I love
throughout, for sure.
Love.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I recommend.
And I thought the use of phones and social media, I thought that felt very realistic too.
Annoying, but yeah.
But
if that's the world we live in,
Yeah.
you can't just watch someone get possessed. You all have to have a fucking copy from a slightly different angle.
Yeah.
Why don't we just set up a camera on the tripod and you guys be in the fucking room? Especially if there's really important rules like let's make sure this hand is not connected after 90 seconds. Let's have one, maybe both hands free.
Because I need to prove I was there. That's how you prove it. It's
Well,
on my Instagram account.
Why aren't they in the shot? Why aren't they selfieing it? That's probably 10 years from now. That's what will be happening.
Yeah.
They're all like not even watching possessing. It's behind them and they're just selfieing. Like, look, I'm in the shot. I'm in the room.
It's more important to see me watching it than for me to actually watch it.
They just look like unicorns, but they just got selfie sticks coming out of their heads.
What we did fuck up on this episode, and I have a deep regret, is the little girl who is the subject of possession in The Wailing was remarkable.
Oh, she won a few awards for like best newcomer.
She was good. I don't know what she's done since, but wow, she was probably the most impressive thing in the entire movie.
That's right.
The paces they put her through, the things that they had her doing, wow. On both sides of the scale too.
That was a really well acted movie. I liked the shaman who came into town. I liked the not my word, but used throughout the film, the Jap.
Yeah, I was talking to about that with Chris Terry. The Japanese man comes into town and he is blamed for almost everything that's going on, and they kept saying it's the Japanese man.
No, it's the Jap.
It's the Jap. But I mean, imagine if this was an American film, like they remade this, and they've been talking about remaking it. Ridley Scott wants to remake it. I guess he's wanted to remake it for a while. But imagine if it's done in the United States and it's a Mexican fella that comes into town. Oh yeah, it's the Mexican. Oh, all this is happening because of the Mexican. Like I don't think that'll fly. Canadian maybe.
And also, Jap is amongst the least offensive terms.
I feel like you should be quiet.
It's just shortened
because you don't know shit.
Well, it's the least offensive.
You say things that are very offensive, and just last week, and I'm the one who hears about it, Brian. Just last week, and I don't want to even trigger you to say it again, but some of the things you were saying maybe last week, the week before, I was
about certain groups who may or may not live in certain
Eastern areas,
United Kingdoms.
Oh, the Pakistan.
Stop it, Brian! I got a text saying that's the equivalent to the N-word in the UK.
It's not.
Stop it! How do you know?
In the UK, maybe.
How do you know?
In the UK, maybe it is. Here, I have Pakistani friends who refer to themselves Pakis.
Stop it! And you don't have Pakistani friends.
Okay,
because you don't have friends.
I met a Pakistani person once.
And he said, "Please call me this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, stranger who I don't know, please refer to me and all of my people as this."
Thinking back, he may have said, "Please, never, ever."
Please stop saying.
I might have got that wrong.
Please cease.
All right, let's put this baby to bed.
All right, Jonathan Oxorn, thank you for assigning us a film. Even though we didn't love it, we appreciate the assignment.
Hey, let me just run down what Oxorn as well as Terry had us watch in the past.
Yeah, Chris Terry, signer of The Wailing.
So, Adventures of Tintin is now behind us. Oxorn's got another one coming up later this year. Probably
Polar Express.
Tokyo Godfathers he had us watch, which is that Japanimation movie that we liked. Why am I only showing up? What? Oxorn? I know he's done more.
Was Tokyo Godfathers animation, or was it the one with the guy who was trying to rescue the girl in the warehouse and got riddled with bullets? What movie is that?
Why did you just give away the end of a movie? Tokyo Godfathers is a animation, a Japan animation movie. It's I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. Handball against the fucking curtains.
We were assigned a film that involved.
Now you gotta say the end of it again.
An ex-Yakuza. All right, you try to go straight. He's like his sister's like.
Okay, careful.
Remember he calls at the very beginning, the opening scene. He calls his sister in the hospital or something.
Chris Terry has us watching Perfect Blue later this year.
Damn it!
He also had us watch Haunt, if you recall, which is that horror film that with the masks and it's like a haunted house that goes on and on.
Fright House.
Yes, Fright House. Is that what you call those? I don't know what you call them.
An escape room?
Florence Love. No, that's totally different. Florence loves them. Like, are they? But you can't call them haunted houses because that's a different thing.
In Sweden,
Yeah.
they call them scary houses. Which
Scary
I really,
houses?
which
I like
really
that.
liked. Scary
You want to go to
houses.
scary houses, guys?
Okay.
Let's
I
go to
went to the
scary
scary
house
houses.
tonight. Yeah.
I liked it.
Oh, what was the accent?
Scary houses. I liked
You know what
it.
that reminds me of? Certain group of people.
I don't understand.
Thanks, Jonathan Oxorn, for assigning. Thanks, Chris
Swedes?
Terry, for assigning.
Swedes? Is that what he's going
So a
at?
little more Indian adjacent.
Freaked was not liked, but yeah, hey, I feel Oxorn's pain.
Freaked is less offensive than Bryan, though.
That's hard to do.
Most things are. It's just his cavalier way. Guys, let me stop you all there. Jap is fine. It's fine.
No, I'm saying it's
Take
fine.
it from
I'm
me.
saying it's the least
Take it-
offensive.
Who are you to say
It's
what's the
just
least
a
offensive
part
to
of the
other
word.
people? Next thing you want to have Cho on and
It's like
explain to him what offends him the
Korean,
most?
you motherfucker.
No, I'm just saying that my worst thing that I ever did was
Oh, that's right. You're
listening
ex-
back to
we're quite
Well, if Ken
people.
Watanabe on this, and he can explain.
We're
Jonathan
quite
Cho. I'm like, hey, Jonathan Cho, let me let you know what's up with the okay.
We should run that episode.
I already did, but I
Oh.
cut that part out. It's the only thing
Oh,
I've ever
come
cut
on.
out, and I copped to it because I was so embarrassed.
That'll be in the loaded for bare feet.
It's like calling Canadians cans. Yeah, it's not a favorite deal.
You can't offend Canadians. They're unoffendable people.
Sure. Wow. Wow, can we air that?
I'm Canadian. I'm allowed to say it.
I'm more Canadian.
You can say
than you are.
cans.
I can say cans. Yeah. Canucks is as bad as
Canucks.
it gets, I think. And they got a fucking hockey team called the Canucks. That's how
Are
bad
they
it
still
is.
around? Vancouver Canucks?
Of course they are.
Well, the Hartford Whalers went away.
Well, it's one team. You got to
A lot
ask
of
about every
Canadian-
team.
What about the Minnesota North Stars?
All right, they're gone. I mean, the Canucks are still around. And Vancouver's not going anywhere. Winnipeg Jets, it's kind of cold up there. People don't want to play. They already went away once. They came back. Who knows?
Oh.
Who knows?
All right, Ingratitude is our featured artist. Check them out, AndersonandBryan.com. That's where the Amazon banner exists. Thank you guys for continuing to help the show out by using it for your shopping. Anderson and Bryan is the Instagram. Anderson and Bryan is the TikTok. The Film Vault, Twitter and Facebook. The Film Vault podcast on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, Eric Kath maintains that. Does a great job. Thank you, Eric. Mike Cole, thanks for your help. Mitch Burns, as always. Giovanni, appreciate you. Check out our Patreon. Lots of good stuff over there. At his Antiques continues to sell crap.
I going to an estate sale last week. Oh, I got the treasure. It's such a good feeling when you
Really?
find the thing, and I found a thing that's worth like $350, $400, and they are
Nice.
selling it for $6.
$6?
$6, yeah.
Wow.
Every now and again, you come across something, you're like, oh my god, this is a very, very important piece.
Did you not realize? Did you not fear that it's a forgery or some sort of fake?
No. You come across certain houses where they have such volume, they have so much stuff from like pack rats or hoarders, and the estate sales, they're just overwhelmed, or maybe they just don't even know. Like they don't. A lot of the time they don't know stuff, and you're not like gypping them. Like they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
There's lines. There's so many people that were already in this house, and the fact that I still found this thing. Oh, I made my wife very happy that day. It's the same as like getting like a really good hand in poker. Like you feel it's the same
Or
feeling.
you're winning
you get.
a lottery ticket, a scratcher.
Yeah, it is that, but it's all like 3D, and you're actually in the room.
you're
It's pretty
there.
good.
You have
Moving
control.
around.
Yeah.
All right,
I got the winner. I was very excited.
Top 5 in it. And will we see it on Ali's Antiques?
I think Jillian already posted on Instagram and bragged about it. She
All
does little
right.
pictures and posts. And also, I'm your realtor. If you have any questions for realtor related questions, real estate related questions, I was at 2 open houses over the last 2 days. In fact, I made my call from the one because it was kind of slow yesterday. So I talked to Chris Terry in an empty house.
right.
Talked to Dr. Drew from the empty house yesterday. I was making phone calls, getting stuff done.
Look at you.
So I'm a filmmaking real estate agent. That's my reality.
You say that's real Hollywood.
It's so
You're
Hollywood.
selling houses, talking to Dr. Drew.
So LA, I know. But
Mr. Dr. Drew.
that is my every single day. I'm working.
That should be your new pitch when people come by to visit. You're like, I'm finishing up with Dr. Drew. Hold on.
Yeah, please
Hold on.
stand by. I don't know if that would actually.
Drew, hold on.
Just make up a name though. Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing everything that I want to do, and it's great. It's a struggle. It's not easy by any means, but yeah, if you would like to use my services or help the film in any way, I am working very hard. There it is. That's the one. That's my find.
Wow.
That is worth a lot of money.
Good
that thing.
call, buddy. That's obscure. I would never have guessed that.
A lot of people want it.
That's
I
why
did.
that's why it was
Is it
$6.
part of a set?
You know what Jillian did when I found it? Yeah, they're all Pirates Bowls are part of a set. That's not true, but most. I found it. I showed Jillian. I'm like, hey, she like her eyes got wide. She took it and she put it in the box underneath the blanket because she was afraid that somebody else was
Someone
gonna be like, oh my
comes
god, Yeah, it was one of those. Place
Nice.
was crawling with people.
All right, top 5 inane monologues coming up later this week or next if you're listening early. Until then,
We do it for Van Gogh.
yep. Bonus Film Vault. Welcome everyone to this bonus edition of the Film Vault where we talk spoilers for a movie. This movie is going to be The Wailing. If you've seen The Wailing, you're amongst the few.